Welcome to the THSP Risk Assessment Builder demonstration. I've logged into the My THSP homepage here, and you'll see all the various other tools that we can use, but today we're focusing on the Risk Assessment Builder. So I'll click on here, Assessment. I'll agree to the assessment. I can add my own reference number should I wish. Then I'll add some basic details into the assessment title. Just use dummy information for now. I'll add in description of the activity, the location, the equipment used, some supporting information, total numbers affected, frequency of use, and duration of exposure. I can add my date of creating the assessment, and I can set our own review date, and if I wish to, include an image of the area being assessed. I'll now press continue. I'll look at the first line of filters. We'll be looking at whichever industry that you're in, or if you wish to see all the filters, just select other. And what we're doing is filtering down a huge database of supported information to give us various hazards and control measures that are linked to those. So we'll be reviewing our activity and deciding which elements are appropriate to it, and you'll only select those activities that are appropriate. So I've selected a couple there, and I'll be happy with my selections and move on to the next screen. We'll now be looking at the hazards associated with those activities. So we chose some use of tools. So we might have entanglement, for example. We chose work at height. So I'll now select some work at height equipment. And I'll continue. We're now going to group the topic areas for control measures and have a look and try and allocate the appropriate controls that would be associated with them. So I'll select the tools, equipment, machinery one first. Now all the control measures appear as rejected first of all. So we've now got to review the control measures, decide whether or not they're appropriate to us. If they're not, we'll leave them as rejected. If they are appropriate, then we'll either select in place or to do. In place means we've implemented all this and it's currently in place. To do means we're going to be doing it, and we'll select who's going to do it and by when. So we're literally reading through these control measures, deciding if they're appropriate to our task, and we'll only select those that are and review down accordingly. Now these are fully editable, so if you feel like you don't like this part of the paragraph, then simply delete, or you can add your own details in. You can add your own control measures and link them with hazards as well. I'll press continue. We'll look at the falls from height one now, and that's very similar. We'll have some initial general work at height related control measures, and then we'll move closely into the type of access equipment we've selected, such as ladders. We'll press continue. And then we'll look at our PPE. So this provides nice pictorials into the finished assessment. So we'll simply look at what we're using, decide the specification, and add notes. You can see there's a wide range of PPE and equipment you can select. So I've finished with my PPE now. So I've finished looking at all the control measures. I'll now be moving on to the risk rating side of things. So the computer program will automatically look at potential harm that may be appropriate to your individual hazard. You'll select who's affected, and you can chop and change these harms if you don't agree with them. You'll see your existing control measures and additional control measures that you've selected. You can delete them if you wish, and that will stop it going through into the next stage of the assessment. And then finally, we'll look at risk ratings, firstly without control measures, and then with control measures. So we've reduced this one potentially to a level 3, and with the likelihood without control measures is high, but we may well reduce it to remote. And we'll do similar with the falls from height. This time it could be a fatality, and we're going to change the likelihood down. So we've done our risk ratings now. I'll finish the assessment. You have the option, if you wish to at any point, to go in and edit and go into any of those sections that you've been to before. Or again, if you've got a similar sort of risk assessment you want to produce next, you can duplicate the assessment, then go in and edit and change. So example, if we wanted to move from step ladders to mobile towers, it could quite easily be done by going back into the hazards and selecting those different use of access equipment. We're going to download the assessment now, so I'll choose the construction download. We can add to it sign-off lists, registers. We can also include things like toolbox talks, work at height registers, etc. But I'll stick with the basic download. And here's our finished assessment. So we'll have an overall risk rating here, and that's looking at your before and after risk scorings. We'll have your logo would appear up here because you're logged into your own account. The name of the assessor would appear along with the title. So here's the information page, followed by the risk assessment itself. So you'll see the hazard, the likely harm, the persons affected, your score without control measures, your score with control measures, and then your existing and additional control measures appearing. You'll then have your PPE, and then your risk summary providing you the workings out as to how you came down to reducing the risk levels. And that's it. That's your simple risk assessment produced using the interactive online tool. So it helps steer you in the right direction. It gives you various options and is fully amendable at any stage. Thank you for watching.